Okay, it's Christmas. I'm excited. I'm going to start off with mulled wine, right, which most people ruin, okay? It's all about spice, isn't it? All those lovely spices like cloves, five spice, nutmeg, cinnamon, vanilla, stuff that makes Christmas feel like Christmas. So what I've got in this pan is 200 grams of sugar, unrefined sugar, and just a splash of water. And as it starts to melt like that, I'm going to add the zest of one clementine in there like that, the zest of one lemon, and a zest of a lime. So all those wonderful citrus fruits. To that, we can add about 6 cloves, like that. A couple of star anise go in. And then we're going to do cinnamon, just snap it in half. That goes in. About 3 leaves of bay, and then nutmeg. And then I've got a vanilla pod here that I've split in half. Don't have to scrape it because it'll all come out in the mix. So as that syrup comes together, just go in with 2 bottles of red wine. And then as it starts to come up, I'm just going to squeeze the juice of the clementine in there, and that'll be delicious. You can see as that just comes up to the heat, all those spices will infuse, like a cup of tea, into that red wine. But that is pretty much ready. I'm just going to squeeze this juice in. The juice of tangerine clementine. There we go. Getting the flavour out in that little bit of syrup there at the beginning means you don't have to boil the hell out of the red wine. And also, if you're lucky, you haven't cooked all the alcohol away. But that's proper mulled wine. And you can taste every single one of those spices. Jinnah!
If you fancy something different on the big day, then my beautiful beef Wellington is for you. With crispy golden puff pastry on the outside and the most blushing beef fillets surrounded by gorgeous wild mushroom pate on the inside, this beef Wellington will deliver the wow factor every single time.
It starts with, of course, the hero cut of meat, which is famed for being the best. It's the fillet of beef. It's so tender. Go and get yourself about 1.2, 1.3 kilos worth. Get your butcher to trim it up. And you want the kind of centre cut, so it's equally sized from one side to the other. This will easily serve 8 people.
Start by seasoning your board with salt, pepper, and a good sprinkle of chopped rosemary.
And then get that lovely fillet of beef, give it a little press, like that. And that's how you get a really nice, even seasoning.
To maximise the flavour, I'm going to sear the beef. Add a lug of olive oil, a knob of butter, and a sprig of rosemary to a pan on a high heat. Then brown the fillet all over for 4 minutes.
Now remember, it's puff pastry. It's that lovely mushroom and chicken liver pate, then the meat seared on top, rolled up. So let's start the chicken liver and mushroom pate.
To make the base for the pate, replace the fat in your beef pan with some fresh olive oil and butter. Go in with 2 cloves of garlic, 2 sprigs of rosemary, a chopped red onion, and a pinch of salt.
Look at these mushrooms, absolutely beautiful. 600 grams I'm using.
Put your mushrooms into the pan with the onion and garlic and cook down for 15 minutes until softened. Then add 100 grams of chicken livers, a dash of Worcestershire sauce, plus a capful of truffle oil. Cook for 3 or 4 minutes, then tip it all onto a board and get chopping.
Oh, the smell is phenomenal. And you can cut this to any texture you want. I am quite happy with that. I'm just going to go in with a nice big handful of dry breadcrumbs, and that will soak up some of those lovely resting juices from the meat. OK, the pate's done.
Next, the puff pastry. It's a real faff to make it fresh, so just buy it, but make sure you get a good quality all butter one.
I want it to be about the size of a tea towel. Nice.
Spread the mushroom and chicken liver pate over the pastry, leaving a space around the edges and at one end.
So, the exciting bit, it's all building up to this, the fillet of beef.
To make it all stick together, paint a little bit of beaten egg onto the exposed bits of pastry.
And then it's time to roll. Get your fingers under and roll it up like this. Keep it tight. And then back over like that to make it snug and tight, and then just roll it over again until it's firm, and then just, like a Christmas cracker, pinch that edge and push it down.
Squash the ends with a fork, dipped in flour, then glaze the whole Wellington with egg wash. If you're making it for a party, you can do all of this the day before. The only thing to remember is to take it out of the fridge a good hour and a half in advance, because beef must be at room temperature when cooking begins. I'm doing mine straight away, and to prevent a soggy bottom, I'm going to give it a 2-minute blast on the hob before it goes in to cook.
When you can just hear that sizzling a little bit, get that in the oven at 210 degrees Celsius.
Cook for about 40 minutes at the bottom of the oven.
And this is just going to guarantee you crispy bum, crispy sides, crispy top, golden all over, absolutely gorgeous.
While it cooks, knock up a gravy with 2 chopped onions, fried gently for 20 minutes. A teaspoon of blackcurrant jam, 100 millilitres of Madeira or port, flamed, a good teaspoon of mustard, 2 tablespoons of flour, and 600 millilitres of hot beef stock. Simmered and then blended. Time to check up on the Wellington.
Have a little look at this. I can feel it's nice and crisp, which is lovely. The colours are amazing.
After resting the meat for 5 minutes and boiling up some seasonal greens, I'm ready to serve.
So I'm going to go in to the first bit. Beautiful. And every single time I see that, I'm relieved. Can you see the juices pouring out now as we've cut it? And we've still got that crisp base, so I'm really pleased with that. Let's load it up with some nice greens and then the gravy. Very exciting. Just a brilliant combination. Beef fillet has rested into that mushroom, and it's all kind of cooked into each other. There's a real harmony there. That is so good. A guaranteed showstopper.
I want to show you 3 simple ways to make roasted veg extra special. Gorgeously golden roast potatoes, carrots with rosemary and a clementine glaze, and parsnips caramelised with honey, bay and vinegar.
We're now going to do the side dishes, right? But there's certain things I do on Christmas Eve that guarantee flavour and kind of de-stressing all the work on Christmas Day. So I've parboiled these for 5 minutes each, together. Carrots and parsnips that I dug up, but standard parsnips, so easy. I'm now going to drain the potatoes. Now, the key is, with the potatoes, you want to parboil them long enough to exaggerate the fluffy inside. About 12, 13 minutes. What we're going to do is dress these in fat. That will protect them. Let's just talk about fat, because fat is flavour, and you can use a different fat on different vegetables. I'll put olive oil on my carrots today, just a little drizzle. We can use butter on my parsnips, and then goose fat on your roast potatoes. Season them with salt and pepper, and then toss them in that fat. Make sure they're all nicely coated, and get some garlic on the potatoes, leave the skins on. They'll go sweet and mild and delicate. So on Christmas Eve, we can do all this. Season it up, dress it up in a chosen fat, and then I'll just cover that and put it somewhere cold. And it's a job out the way, brilliant. But I'll cook these now for an hour. So the oven will be at 180. And then we can just rack them up like that, and we've still got another bit of space if we wanted to do anything else. Brilliant. So the roast veg has had nearly an hour, so it's getting golden. We've concentrated all those flavours, which is great. But at this stage, the last 10 minutes, we can add another layer of incredible flavour so that each veggie is unique and delicious. Let's get these veggies out. Come on. So the spuds there, parsnips, looking beautiful, and the carrots. Now, I'm going to show you how to flavour layer. You can use different herbs and different flavours to make each one of these completely delicious, individual and fantastical. You want to get the best out of the herbs. If you put them in at the beginning, they're going to be ruined by the time everything's ready, right? So that last 10 minutes is like just perfect. So, carrots. We'll go in with rosemary, right? We can mix this up, and that residual fat in the tray will just dress those herbs. A little bit of clementine, right? That juice will reduce and glaze those carrots. It will be lovely. We're going to go in with bay leaves here on the parsnips, and then a good swig of white or red wine vinegar. About a tablespoon goes in, and then a drizzle of honey. This flavour combo is phenomenal. And then the sage. It's going to go really snappy and delicious. But there's a really important thing here that I need to show you, and that is with a potato masher. We can increase crunchiness by just lightly putting a bit of pressure on the potatoes to give them more surface area. And then that way, you get the crispiest, most wonderful potatoes. These roast veggies are going to be absolutely amazing. And we're going to put them now back in the oven until perfection. About 10 minutes. But this is also the moment in real life on Christmas Day where you'd be getting ready to carve the turkey, right? You'd have your gravy on here. We can put some greens on. But what a lovely selection of veggies, right? A real celebration. What are you doing? Hello. Just doing veggies, roast veggies. What's your favourite roast veg?
Okay, lemon.
Lemon, apparently.
Oh, lemon. There you go, roast lemon for Christmas.
Look. Oh, yeah, he's been naughty.
What have you done? Tell me what you've done.
But you still love me, do you?
Oh, well, I love you, yes. I love you very much.
Well, you might not want to.
I broke the front piano.
Oh.
I was trying to do a song and the back bit fell off.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you've broken Daddy's piano?
Yeah.
Okay. How could you not forgive him? Go on, go and play. Never a quiet moment in the Oliver household. It's always like that. He'll get a bit of coal for Christmas. Okay, let's have a look at these lovely, lovely veg. Oh, beautiful roast potatoes. Clementine and rosemary roast carrots, and then roast parsnips with the vinegar and the bay and the honey. So come on, let's have a little look at a potato. Oh, yeah, they're hot. Look at that. If you just bust it open, you're gonna see that world of fluff and crispiness. The sage is phenomenal. The salty outside with the goose fat, which I love. So good. Carrot time, simplicity. That lovely kind of spritz of Christmas with the clementine. And then, the amazing parsnip. What the vinegar does with the bay is simply a thing of beauty. Look how gnarly and beautiful the outer skin gets. Don't peel the parsnips. Oh, wow. Everything here tastes very different and very, very delicious. We've got our beautiful Brussels sprouts and greens here. I've just given you some of the ideas, hints, tips and principles that will arm you with the confidence, I hope, to do the best veg for this Christmas ever. Amazing roast veggies and the simplest steamed and boiled veg. Ravioli really is the family of filled pasta.
Yes.
And of course, within ravioli, you have the different names. Capellacci,
Cappelletti, colurzone,
Caramella.
agnolotti, agnolini, caramelle.
See, and from caramelli,
Yes.
which means sweetie, right? I got inspired to make this delicious ravioli. It's all about getting something gorgeous inside. Cut up the butternut squash into 8 big chunks. Then whack them into a large baking tray, along with 250 grams of fresh ricotta. Season with salt, pepper, and a hint of dried chili flakes, grated nutmeg, and a drizzle of olive oil. And after an hour in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit, it will look like this. You can see how the cheese has just sagged. Ricotta is so light, but when it's seasoned and then roasted, you get a lovely crumbly texture. So Gennaro's just going to crumble a nice little handful of chestnuts, a really Christmassy flavour, and then we're just going to pick some sage. And what we want to do is just drizzle this sage with a little olive oil, and these sage leaves will go from being boring old woody leaves into the most incredible crispy herbs. Delicious.
And tasty.
Pop the filling back in the oven for another 15 minutes. let's talk about pasta. So I learned everything I did from Gennaro. So today, we're going to do the masterclass. So should we start?
Let's do it.
Okay. So in the bowl, we're going to go in with 400 grams of plain flour. This is Tipo 00. It is basically a grade of grind. It means the flour is like talcum powder, super fine. Then go in with 75 grams of fine semolina and 12 egg yolks for a rich golden pasta. There's no sort of right or wrong to kneading, just kind of keep moving it. And you want to get a kind of nice elastic dough. Look, that's what we got. You can see how smooth it is and beautiful. What we need to do is now leave this to rest because the gluten in here has become like tight. Wrap the dough in a clean damp tea towel or cling film for about half an hour. Meanwhile, let the squash cool down completely. By roasting that ricotta, we've created texture, but also it's light and curdy and delicious. So we're going to make the filling now. And most of this skin is delightful and it's soft. Some of it's a little bit kind of hard. So it's lovely to eat, but it might pierce the ravioli. Try that little crispy bit.
Oh my God.
A lot of people throw away the skin. I love the skin. I think the biggest flavour is in the skin.
Any more left? Let's have this one.
So we'll use, instead of a machine where it goes like baby food, let's kind of use forks. Okay, so let's have a little taste.
Oh gosh.
It's really
I
good.
know.
Grate in a little fresh parmesan for an extra depth of flavour. And the filling is done. All we need to do now is the fun bit, the pasta shapes. We're going to use a rolling pin. If you've got a pasta machine, even easier. Now, a really amazing tip. The king of all dusting flour is rice flour. When we make ravioli, you know, sometimes they start to stick underneath, but with rice flour, never. It's unbelievable. So a little rice flour like that, perfect. We want to go thin though, because when you fold it back on itself, you're doubling it up. So you want it to be delicate. To make your crackers, spoon a little filling into a section of the pasta. Brush the edges with a little water, roll it, seal it, pinch the edges, and trim off any extras. You want to make it a tight seal, so when that cooks, it's all in there. And the nice thing is, you can kind of get into the habit of doing this once a month at the weekend. You'll get so good. It's a lovely thing to learn, but you can freeze these. So if you freeze like batches and portions of these, it's fantastic because a month later, you take them from the freezer, you throw them in the water, it's the ultimate fast food. Simply boil these little beauties for around 3 minutes fresh or 5 minutes if they're frozen. And you can have all that love and passion in the middle of the week when you're rushing around. Happy?
I'm very happy. It's the best things in the world, making pasta.
Look how perfectly imperfect they are. They're all different shapes and sizes. You know, you're never going to get that from a supermarket.
It's full of love, so
Look at that, Jenna.
it's just incredible.
Beautiful.
And we all made ourselves.
So, after all that time, now it's time to cook. And the cooking bit's the easy bit. 3 little ones each, plus 1 just in case one explodes. Bring your pasta water to the boil and make sure it's nicely seasoned. We're going to put in our lovely ravioli. You could just do plain butter, but because it's Christmas time, we're going to do a little clementine. Go on, my friend. Christmas to me tastes like clementines. So add a squeeze of the juice to some melted butter for a delicious, simple sauce. And when it boils, there's a moment where it comes together, and that's the moment where you stop and you serve very quickly. If you want to put a few sage leaves in. Okay, parmesan. Just a little bit of parmesan. Again, hardly any. And Gennaro's going to toss this just a little bit. Go on, Gennaro. Come on, big boy. Stop. Covering me.
Yes.
And it's that little plate of love.
You set a little parcels of love.
Sprinkle with some toasted crushed almonds and a little parmesan. Come on, get close, get close.
Don't talk, just eat it.
There's no better way to keep cosy outside than with homemade sausage rolls. But I'm giving them a twist, literally, by making them into a super festive sausage roll wreath. So I'm doing one with beautiful sausage meat and another with gorgeous roasted squash. So I'll start with a squash. I'm just going to get myself a large knife, carefully because it's round, put this down like this, tip goes in the middle, don't put too much weight down, right, because this can be a little bit tricky, and then go down. So split these into 8. And then I want to give you the seasonings that make this squash sublime. So here, we've got the basics, salt and pepper, but then we can bring the squash to life with a little bit, just a tiny bit of chili, some coriander seeds, and a little bit of cinnamon. Those 5 seasonings are going to really transform that squash. So get yourself a roasting tray. We'll go in with some olive oil, just a little bit, and then in a pestle and mortar, we'll add a teaspoon of the coriander seeds, a nice pinch of the salt and pepper, and a little pinch of the chili. I don't want it to be spicy, just a little bit of background hum. And then with the cinnamon, just a little bit. Get your squash, get a spoon, just remove those little seeds there. And then in with the amazing seasoning. Give it a nice little mix up. So that is going to be beautiful. I'll roast that for about 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, and that will go sweet, delicious, intense, and it will be a brilliant filling for my sausage roll. So use the fork to mash up all of that skin and flesh. Look at that. Then let's add some really nice complementary Christmassy flavours. So a little handful of vat-packed chestnuts. Just break them up in your hands. Maybe sort of like 10 or 12 of those. And then what else is Christmassy? Cranberries. Dried cranberries, they're sweet, they're sour. Then a little bit of cheese for seasoning and kind of holding it all together. So that goes in. Then we just mix it all up. Have a little taste. Salt, pepper, a little tweak if you want to. And look, if you're wondering what we would do with these, you will never, ever regret having leftover squash in the fridge. You can tear that into a pasta, risotto, noodle dish, a stew. That goes to one side. Now it gets really fun. So we are going to cheat. We're going to use pre-made puff pastry. All butter puff pastry. You don't want to be making this at home. You've got way more important things to do. I've got 2 packs here. Unwind it, and you're good to go. All I have to do now is cut each sheet into 2 lengthwise. So go right to the middle here and just cut through the pastry like so. We're going to do sausage first. A good Cumberland sausage, free-range pork. Just get a knife and run it down the sausage like that, and do that to all 4. So just take the skin off and place that in the middle of your pastry. And look, exactly the perfect size. So then we've got our lovely filling here with our squash. So take that filling, make it even all the way along. So I've got 2 runs of sausage roll, 1 run of the lovely squash, and then I'm going to do a little surprise with that one. So get an egg in a bowl, whisk it up. Egg wash is what we use to stick pastry together or give it a beautiful glossy finish on the outside. I want to get more flavour and colour onto it, so I'm going to use a little bit of English mustard. A heaped teaspoon goes in. We're just going to turn this over. So pull it up like that. Let the pastry stick to this side like that. Use your fingers just to press it together. We'll do exactly the same on our amazing sausages here. Push your finger down like that, and then get yourself a fork and just use that to kind of crimp that lovely edge This would be amazing. You can cook them whole like that, put them on a big table, a big board. It looks really, really cool. But I want to go to the next level. It's Christmas, guys. So we're going to do a sausage roll wreath. For that, get the biggest tray that comes with the oven, right, like that. We're going to take our piece of greaseproof paper. We're going to put that on here. We're going to get a regular kind of like bowl in the middle, like this, and we're going to build around it. Now, the great thing about... Come on, my big boy, how are you?
Good.
You want to help me with this sausage roll wreath?
Wreath?
Yeah, you know, the thing that Mum hangs, but it's normally flowers. Yeah. Not today, it's going to be sausage roll. So I'm going to cut this in the middle. Go and wash your hands, buddy, so you can help me, right? So then into quarters, and then into eighths. So these are our sort of more chunky sausage rolls. Then we'll do exactly the same here, but into 16ths. We've basically got fat ones and thin ones. Now, the great thing about this is if you do it a little bit badly, it really doesn't matter, because the great thing about puff pastry is it just kind of cooks up and out, and then any little kind of imperfections kind of become beautiful. You cook yourself out of trouble. Take your coat off, big boy. Roll those sleeves up. Let's do this. Come on, you in your pyjamas?
Yeah.
We'll start off by the bigger ones going around, right, because it's a wreath. So space those around the bowl. It's eccentric, right? We're having a bit of fun, and we should be doing it with food as well. Get the kids involved. Once we have done that, right, we can take the bowl away, and then we can have a little go on the squash. And all I would do with this one, buddy, is run it sort of on the side like that. You got it, you're better than me now. Any leftover ones of these, you can freeze. So we'll just take a bit of that mustard egg wash, and we'll egg wash the side of each one of these. Budge, do you want to take over from this, my bro?
Yeah.
You're not going to let me kiss you for much longer, are you? Yeah. Get too old and too cool. Good job. Are you a bit chilly? Go on, get your jacket back on. Now what we can do, a little bit of sesame seeds, a little bit of poppy seeds.
Can I do some?
Of course you can. What we're going to do is take a little bit of rosemary, grab some rosemary and some bay. Here we go. A couple of bay leaves, 4 or 5, and we'll rub those with oil first, otherwise they'll go a bit dry and horrible. We're going to go in with a few bits of rosemary. You like that, Buds?
Yeah.
So look at that. That is the Oliver sausage roll wreath.
It even has an O in the middle.
Yeah, it even has an O in the middle. But what would you do with a wreath? You'd hang it. So I'm going to show you how to make a little bow to hang this wreath. So I split this into 2, and then we're going to go not quite to the end and cut it into 3. Take some cheese like that. So what we're going to do to plait, just go one over there, over there, over there, over there. You know how to plait, right? There, 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 there. Pinch it at the end, and you have your lovely plait. I'll get another little tray. So rough and ready, don't stress about it. We're just going to cross it over like that, right? That on a board, you can eat the whole lot. It's going to be amazing. With that little cheesy, puffy bow, we're going to put that in the oven. Buds, you go in at the bottom. That'll go in for about 30 minutes, 35 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius until golden and delicious. And serve it with a laugh, a little twinkle in your eye. And I reckon everyone's going to love that, right, Buds?
Yeah.
So, and we have our golden bow and our epic sausage roll wreath. Look at that. Do a nice little bow. So there you go, lovely people. That is my completely bonkers Christmas sausage roll and squash wreath. I never thought I'd be making one of these, but you know what? Let yourself go, have fun, and honestly, it will put a smile on people's faces. Let me give you the most incredible edible present that the veggies are going to kiss you for and the meat eaters are going to fight you for. Introducing the one and only Veggie Pithivier. It's the most incredible French-style pie, a parcel of puff pastry, crispy and gorgeous, with layer upon layer of amazing sweet, slow-roasted celeriac, creamy, gorgeous mushrooms, and even a little bit of sauce on the side. Guys, it starts here with celeriac. We're gonna take the top off. You wanna leave the skin on. Take some olive oil, give it a drizzle up, sea salt, lots of black pepper. Get your hands in there and have a little rub up. And when that starts to roast on the outside with the skin, it's gonna be truly delicious. Now I'm gonna wrap it in tin foil, just put it over like that, and there you go. That now goes in the oven for an hour and a half, and we're gonna cook it at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, and the flavors that will happen in here will be absolutely immense. Now it's time to make the sauce. A lovely bechamel style sauce with sweet leeks, garlic, and mushrooms. It's gonna be a joy. So I have 2 leeks. The ends I'll just take off. Get your knife, run it down the length of the leek and just go as thin as you can. Let's get cooking. We're gonna put some butter, the white part of the leeks. Get yourself 2 cloves of garlic, slice it up. Garlic goes in. Look at that. Already smells amazing. We've got our standard button mushrooms and our chestnut mushrooms, but absolutely you can upgrade for wild mushrooms at this time of year. Whether you go for the cheapest mushroom or the most expensive, it's still bloomin' delicious. So in the pan with our mushrooms, cook those for about 10-15 minutes. And it's this stage of making a sauce that's going to give you the oomph, the flavour. I'm going to use a teaspoon of English mustard, and then I'm going to use 2 heaped tablespoons of just plain flour. That's your thickening agent. And then we're going to let it down with 800 mils of milk. And as I add the milk, it will start to just get silkier. We'll let that simmer now, just enough time for me to get some herbs chopped up. So just finely slice the parsley. You can see it's nice and thick. I'm going to turn off the heat. And there's one last ingredient, 120 grams of beautiful blue cheese. Have a little taste. Oh, beautiful. Now let's make the filling. Right, let's have a little look. Oh, look at that. There you go. You see it's caramelized. It's shrunk a little bit. And then slice it like a piece of ham. Don't worry if it breaks or if there's a few bits that sort of plop off. Get yourself a regular bowl, olive oil, and then just put the cling film through like that. Use your hand to push it into the corner. And now what I want to do is take beautiful slices of the celeriac, place that just up the side like that. And it doesn't matter if you do this well or badly, right? Just line the side. Don't panic, don't stress. And then a base like that. That is what you end up with. Then we're going to go over to our sauce. Just put a little bit of that in there, and then again, layer that celeriac, beautiful creamy sauce. So last layer, push it right around and use those last little bits to make your topping. And then at this stage, we'll use that cling film. Just pull it tight. Get yourself a little plate so you can weigh it down. And then if we put that in the fridge overnight, the fridge temperature is going to make it really firm. And then it's really, really easy to turn into the most incredible pie. It's going to be beautiful. This has been in the fridge, so it's firmed up. But then we need to encase it in some pastry. I'm cheating. I'm using all butter puff pastry. It's even rolled out for us. Take it as a square, like that, all the way. So we now have the base. I've got some egg yolks here. Take our filling, just turn it out into the middle of our pie like that. And then I'm going to use another roll, and we want to flap it on top. So line up and just go over. And this is almost like making the most incredible little Christmas present, right? Pat the top, we go to one side, right into the corner, define that shape. And we want to cut about 1.5 centimeters around the pie, like this. We don't have to waste this, right? You can put Parmesan in there, a bit of cayenne pepper, a few little twists, do a nice little nibble. Get yourself a little chair, come down to this beautiful pie's level. Get myself some flour, take one finger, forefinger, you push it in, you take your thumb and forefinger and squeeze around it. And as you squeeze, pinch it at the end, and you get that. And what's great about this is it seals the 2 bits of pastry together. We'll put a little cross in there, that will let the steam out, and I'm gonna give it a really nice glaze. And this is gonna give it the most incredible bronze tan. This is a French pie that's come truly via Essex. Look at that tan, come on. And then I'll take my knife from the center and just turn it and score it. And I go back, and then I'll turn it and score it. You do not wanna cut all the way through. Now, last but not least, a little bit of my offcuts. Cut a little circle out, find something round. You can just cut out that center part like that and then lay that over our little cross. And you can do that 1-2 days before Christmas. That is a celebration of a dish. Now, because it's Christmas, get yourself a wodge of rosemary, get some olive oil on there and dress it up. It's gonna smell nice, look nice. It's like a little wreath. That will be cooked at the bottom of the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for 2 hours. Ho, ho, ho! Look at that. It's a thing of beauty. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Yes! This is a veggie dish that meat eaters will fight for. So good. Come on. A nice little drizzle of the sauce. Come on. just beautiful. Let's go for the end. Wowzers, your guests will not know what's happened. Merry Veggie Christmas. I'm going to do celeriac and potato mash. Now, celeriac is an incredible vegetable. It is incredibly useful, and it's pretty much in every single supermarket in the country. And people just walk past it and have never tried it. It's got a bit of a celery vibe. It feels quite fresh, and if you roast it and kind of caramelize it, it goes very, very deep. So I've got like 1.5 kilos of potatoes here, and I'm gonna roughly do 50-50 of celeriac and potatoes. So I've given it a nice wash and a scrub. I'll just take the skin off. So simply cut it in half and then cut it into inch chunks. We'll throw that into the water. So with the spuds, I'm gonna cut it into the same size, about inch chunks. Really subtle thing that you can do is just take a little bunch of thyme. That will infuse the water, which will infuse the veg. It's a lovely little trick to making your mash even more delicious. And of course, once the potatoes are cooked, we take it out. So we're gonna boil this for like 12, 13 minutes until the potatoes and celeriac are cooked. Then we're gonna mash it. So let's just check if those potatoes are cooked. Lovely. The celeriac is cooked as well. So let's take those carefully over and drain them. Beautiful. So let's get rid of the herbs now. They've done their job. So let those steam just for a little bit. Really important when you're doing your mashed potatoes. In the pan, first of all, some nice butter. Then give it a tablespoon of olive oil. Now, because it's Christmas, I'm gonna add a little cream. We're gonna start the seasoning process now. Mix it up, let's have a little taste. I love mashed potato. I love it as much as the next person, but with the celeriac and doing that 50-50, it makes it so delicious. Get yourself a nice heat-proof serving bowl, right? Take this lovely mash, get every last bit into the bowl. When I used to work in the old French restaurants, we used to do this. Do the old little lines, you know, silly daft stuff. Okay, just fill this up with about 2-3 inches of water. And then we'll put that on a low heat, and that will create steam. And again, I'll do that same trick with the little hat. Put that on top. That will simmer very gently. You can check the water so it doesn't boil dry, but that will keep it warm. And it's a brilliant little trick at a very busy time. Over the Christmas period, it can get super busy, so we all need some delicious meals that are easy to put together and feed your friends or family. And if you want to get ahead, I've got a hearty chili that you can batch up in advance. The perfect winter warmer for this time of year. So I'm going to show you all the tricks and tips to getting maximum flavour out of that stuff and getting it in here. So first up, we've got peppers, we've got sweet potatoes, and just in a regular non-stick pan or even a gas hob, I want to show you how to kind of trick smokiness into that pan. You will love it. So this is on a high heat. This is on a medium heat. This is a casserole pan. So peppers, I'm gonna put them directly onto the gas. Also, you could use a grill. Get them under the grill to get them blistering and popping and going black, literally. Then with the sweet potato, what I'm gonna do is slice it into 1 centimetre slices. I'm gonna leave the skin on. The skin has got some delicious flavour, so we wanna celebrate that. And then I'm gonna put it directly into a dry non-stick pan, and we can start toasting and charring this. I've got 2 onions here. I'm just gonna half it and then quarter it into like centimetre chunks. And then this pan is getting nice and hot now. And again, we're going into a dry pan. Move these peppers around, it's perfectly safe. Basically what's happening is the skins are catching, they're charring. Really what we're trying to do is mimic the old-fashioned cooking that would happen in a big old cauldron over a log or charcoal fire, and that's where, of course, the mega flavour really is. Here in the pan, I'm dry frying, and you can see already there's caramelisation on the bottom of the pan. And then the sweet potato, look, toastiness. It's about adding extra layers of flavour. In this pan now with the onions, I'm going to push the onions to one side, and we're going to introduce our oil. In with a nice couple of lugs of olive oil. It will start to sizzle. I'm going to add spices now. So the first one is a nice heaped teaspoon of cumin. So when they start to just spit a little bit and toast, we'll bring the onions in. So we've got some smoked paprika. 2 teaspoons go in. That's going to give it amazing colour and a true smokiness. And then a little curveball ingredient. Cocoa powder. 2 teaspoons of cocoa in here. And no, before you say it, it's not going to taste like hot chocolate. It's got this most incredible savouriness to it, a roundness, which with the sweet onions and the spice is going to be amazing. OK, next, for a slightly more unusual ingredient, we're going to use peanut butter, unsweetened, and 1 nice big heaped tablespoon goes in. What I've witnessed in many countries is the use of smashed up nuts, and they really do add a depth of flavour to stews, curries and chilies. Really amazing. We'll stir that in. I just add a little swig of vinegar just to clean the bottom of that pan. Just a tablespoon. In with the sweet potato. So give it a good stir. So the peppers, in no time at all actually, have blistered up nicely. So I haven't overly coloured them, but this is enough to soften up the peppers, get that toasty flavour going. And also, exactly what we did with the peppers, we can do with the chilies. So a couple of chilies. The one thing I suggest you do is just prick it with a knife, because when these get hot, they have been known to explode. So back to these peppers. Just chunk that up into like 2-inch-ish pieces. Tap off the seeds. In with the green peppers, the yellow peppers, and the red. So nice colours now, look at that. Starting to look very joyful. I'm actually getting really excited. Taste buds are going already. Slice up the chilies. When I was a kid, my mum used to make chili con carne. It was very nice, but the thing I hated about it always was the kidney beans. It took me a long time to love kidney beans, and I'm still not completely convinced about them. Later on in life, I realised there was many other beans that were very nutritious, so I'll take some butter beans. In here, you can see there's like a little kind of stock. It's seasoned, we won't waste that. I normally put a second tin of butter beans in, but I'm mixing it up. This is chickpeas. So chickpeas and juice go in. Now, here's the interesting thing. Aggressive heat in here. So just put the butter beans in the pan, and you'll just find that it starts to scald the skin of the bean. The trick is to leave it. And then that aggressive heat just kind of gets the skin to crackle, and then it kind of bursts open and the fluffiness comes out. And that in a chili, I just love. It kind of makes it dry and hot and ready to suck up the flavour from the chili. I now want to add our friend, Mr. Tomato. So 3 tins, yes, 3 tins of tomatoes. So I like to put this into my hand, clean of course, and scrunch it. Connect with your cooking. Best gadget in the world. Fill up one of these with water, and then pour it into that one, and then pour it into that one, and get every last bit of lovely tomatoey goodness out. There's good things happening there. Give it a shake. Can you see? See how they've popped, shriveled and charred? And they're now going to go into our lovely chili, and they'll sizzle away and absorb all of that flavour. So, last few things to kind of get your taste buds going. We're going to use coriander. Do not throw away the stalks. We'll keep the leaves for later, and we'll embrace these stalks. They're delicious. So just finely slice those. So in we go.
with the coriander stalks, pinch of sea salt and pepper, stir that through. And now I'm gonna cook that for about 50 minutes to an hour, right, on a medium heat with a lid ajar, just so we retain some of that moisture. But in that time, all the flavours are gonna exchange. It already smells amazing. Get your nice jacket potatoes, give them a wash, give them a prick, and then a little bit of salt. And then in the oven, 180 until cooked, basically about an hour. Happy days. So this has had about 50 minutes. And look at that. You can see that it's thickened up. It's robust. It looks really gorgeous. When it's off the heat, which it is now, a kiss of good oil will just give it a shine and a kind of grassiness. You know, we can chop some fresh herbs up, in this case it's coriander, and that will give it kind of perfume. And as we're talking about really dynamic flavours, let's also talk about dynamic textures. A simple salad, right? Gem lettuce, romaine. This is crunch, soft crunch. And then there's another little trick. If you take standard jalapenos in vinegar, get them in a blender, and just with a little whiz, put everything in here. Take a herb, in this case mint and chilli, fantastic friends. In we go with the mint, just a few little sprigs, and wazz it up, and you're gonna make the easiest cheats salsa ever. So in no time at all, we've made a fluorescent green, amazing chili mint salsa. And then last but not least, there's another little salsa. First up, we'll take a little slice of apple. Half an apple and half an onion. So I'll slice this up, nice and fine. Now with the onion, I'm just gonna finely slice it and season it with salt. That will wring out the actual moisture in the onion. And then get a lime, give it a little roll to get the juices going. And we'll sprinkle the juice. Now the acid in this lime will act just like pickling liquor, right? Vinegar. So we just move that around like that, and immediately it'll start changing the onion. And that's it. Apple, crunchy, sweet, and the limey, sour, salty onions. Time for some jacket potatoes. And then some cheddar. Come on, enough chatting. Let's get that jacket potato with the cheese. Let's go deep into the cauldron and make sure we get a nice spoon of that amazing chili. Let's hit up a little bit of yogurt. That'll just kind of ripple through. We'll have a little bit of herbage happening. Get some green going. We can take our little cheats jalapeno straight on that yogurt. I'm gonna have my little cups of the lettuce here, because we can use this lettuce to mop up that chili. And then we've got our little quick salsa that we've made. Everything going on in one little winter warmer plate.
Tiny pork sausages wrapped in lovely smoky bacon make the perfect Christmas canapes. But why let the flavours stop there?
Because at Christmas time, your fridge is jam-packed with loads of goodies. You've got Stilton, you can put some nuts with that. Look, bit of stuffing here, some soft cheese, all wrapped in bacon. Endless combinations. 2 bits of pear, we'll go with some cranberries. It's just great fun. Got a little bit of rosemary. I'm gonna stick that with my Stilton.
Once you've got your fillings lined up, all you need is the bacon.
Stretch your bacon, making the most of it. I'm using smoked. I think the smoky flavour brings more to the game. Cut that in half. Come here, Stilton. Sweet fruit flavours with Stilton go so well. So there's my first one. Stilton, rosemary and prune. Lovely. Right, who's next? So there's black pudding and sage. Make it fun. It's Christmas. Everything's fun. These are good enough to leave out for Santa.
I'm wrapping up soft cheese with walnut and thyme, pear and cranberry, figs with pine nuts and honey, stuffing and nutmeg, and of course the classic chipolata.
So they're going to go in the oven for 20 minutes at 180. While they're cooking away, another thing you'll always need when you've got friends round is a good Christmas drink. The margarita. And it's really, really simple, this. 3 parts tequila, 2 parts triple sec, and 1 part lime. That's it, dead easy.
There's one more thing we need to turn this into a proper festive party drink.
Cranberries, like little mini Rudolph noses.
To really impress, freeze your glasses and salt them up.
Look at the colour of that. Now, one final thing to make it super Christmassy. Little bit of rosemary. It's been snowing. Merry Christmas. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can smell those pigs in blankets. Come on. Look at these. They smell amazing. Some Stilton. The black pudding. Some soft cheese and thyme. That is just the ultimate pigs in blankets. Right, I've got to get stuck in. I'm going to go for the Stilton and prune with rosemary. They are so good. What a great way to celebrate a Christmas classic like the pigs in blankets. Merry Christmas. Right, where's my snowman?
I'm going to do a lovely frozen dessert that is everything that I love about Christmas in the most peculiar but beautiful way.
This delicious winter bomb dessert is frozen heaven in a slice. It's a super easy, clever assembly job. The perfect get-ahead pudding to keep in your freezer until you need it.
We're going to use this bowl here to make a wonderful frozen bomb with panettone, nuts, fruits, ice cream. It's going to be epic. Think of it a little bit like a summer pudding, but this is a Christmas pudding like you've never seen before. So, Buds?
Yeah?
Do you want to come and give us a hand with this dessert?
Yeah, sure.
Come on, big boy. If you can scrunch that up and get it wet for me, that would be very, very nice. So Buddy is going to get that greaseproof paper wet, and then we're going to use that to line this bowl so we can turn it out easily tomorrow. So we're going to use half of a lovely panettone. You've got some beautiful fruits in there, and I'm just going to get 1 centimetre slices. And this is going to make the outside lining of your dessert. So, Buds, can you do nice 1 centimetre slices for me?
Yeah,
Use the length of the knife. Go on, big boy. Show them how you do it. I'm just going to put this into the bowl and push it down. 1 across that way, 1 across this way. Very good job. I'll take these lovely slices, okay, and I'm going to lay it up the side, just slightly kissing the bottom, like that. See how it's bent up?
Yeah.
And once I've done that, then I'll do the next one, right? Just slightly overlapping. Fan it out like that. Beautiful. So I think that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 will do it. That's, yeah, go on then, put that one in. Now, panettone is quite spongy. That means there's the potential for adding more flavour. So, I would like to introduce you to the second beautiful Italian ingredient, right? Vinsanto. It's the most amazing sweet wine. It's great with cheese, great with starters like pâté at Christmas. But also in puddings, it's amazing. And if you didn't want to use alcohol, a little bit of orange or clementine juice would be absolutely delicious, right? That is raspberry jam. So we're going to take 3 or 4 big tablespoons like that, and we're essentially going to kind of butter up the sides. So, Buds, if you get that spoon,
Yeah.
get that nice bit and really push it up. So you're plastering, basically. You're plastering jam up the Vinsanto sodden panettone. Come on. Nice. Good job. So these are pistachios, unsalted, by the way. Then I'm going to go in with some vanilla ice cream that I just took out of the freezer about 10 minutes ago, okay? So it's kind of pliable. Then you can compound and press that ice cream in and push it into shape. I'm going to get Christmassy, because I've got here some glacé clementine, right?
How do you make that?
So basically what they do is they make a sugar syrup, so that's half sugar and water, and they put their fruit in and they bring it up to a simmer, then they cool it, then they go up again and cool it.
But it's actually an orange.
That's actually a clementine. And you get pears, peaches, all kinds of fruit.
Has it got skin on it?
Yeah, it's all edible. So what I'm going to do is
Can I eat this?
Yeah, you can eat it, it's Christmas. But let me slice this up first.
I'm so confused.
So what they did in the old days, buds, what you have to remember is they didn't have fridges, they didn't have freezers, right? So when they had a glut of fruit, right, they had to preserve it. Otherwise the kids go hungry in the winter, right? So they would dry them, they would jam them, and they would also glacé them like that. What do you think of it, buds?
I like it.
Nice. Okay. So we've got the glacé fruit and then fresh fruit. 2 clementines that I'm just going to slice into like 3 or 4 quite chunky parts like that. And then last but not least, if you've got any other nice fruit, there's some fantastic cherries in syrup that you can get, or it could be ginger in syrup, whatever you choose, have fun with it. Put the last nuts in, big boy. So I'm using 2 tubs of vanilla ice cream. You squeeze that out for Daddy. So just imagine this later on. We're going to cut through it and you're going to get a cross section, like a trifle, like the layers. So now, like any good tradesman, we're going to get our trowel spoon and just grout the area for tiling. It's all right, Dad's gone weird. Just go with it.
Yeah, you always go with.
I know. Then complete this by putting the slice in like that.
That's so perfect.
If it wasn't perfect, it doesn't matter, by the way. But thank you for saying it's perfect. And at this stage, we just put the paper over. Right, so give that a press. Then we can put some plates on top and really press it. Whack that in the freezer, buds. It's kind of like a cross between an Arctic roll and the greatest hits of Christmassy Italian flavours. That will take about 10 hours to set. Just get it out of the freezer like half an hour before you want to serve it. And then we're going to put a chocolate sauce over it. 3 packs of like 70% chocolate. You give them a little slap, buds, and put it, gently, it will go everywhere. I add 1 big knob of butter, 30 grams, give or take. The butter will give it a fantastic shine, but also stop it from setting hard. And then just a little drizzle of milk. Once you've done that, we'll melt that over this little pan of simmering water. That's a nice gentle heat so that you don't split the chocolate. If you do it too hot, it will split. You don't want that. So I've got about 20 or so people coming tomorrow, so I could make 2 of these really easily. River likes chocolate. He's like nearly 5. Like with a sheepdog, they have a little whistle. I have one, and it's just this. Like, see if it works. River, chocolate!
I want to draw, but I don't do this. Can I lick the spoon, Dad?
Yeah, do you want to come and see what's going on? I'm not sure about standing on the kitchen surface. A little pinch of salt, by the way, just brings out the flavour of the chocolate. Really, really does help.
Can I lick that?
Why do you love chocolate so much? Tell me.
Because it's so nice. Actually, I know it's Christmas time. Shall I do a drawing of snowflake?
Yeah, that would be really nice. White on white. Just white on
No,
white.
green snowflake.
A green snowflake, okay. Can you see the texture here?
Quite thick.
It's quite thick. I'm just going to put a little milk in, maybe another couple of tablespoons, and just let it down so it's a thick chocolate sauce.
Can I lick the spoon?
Yes, you can lick the spoon. Okay, if you could bath in chocolate, would you bath in chocolate?
If I could bath in chocolate, I would eat the chocolate.
Yeah, I know. You'd never get out of the bath, would you? That's the perfect consistency, imagine, to go over that lovely frozen dessert. So tomorrow, when it's dessert time, I'm going to take that lovely frozen dessert out of the freezer 30 minutes before I need it. Just pop it in the fridge, turn it out, and then in front of the guests, the chocolate sauce goes over, bit of holly, some sparklers, and everyone's going to go, wow! And we've got a snowflake. It's actually very nice. What up, food tubers? I hope you're well. Today is a great day because we are making a nut roast. And for me, the nut roast is about a beautiful dinner, a beautiful meal, textures, contrast, sweetness, savouriness. It's a wonderful opportunity to love your veg. We're using some interesting things like quinoa, nuts, chestnuts, spices, dried fruit, and I'm gonna put it together with a sauce and some melted cheese and lovely herbs. You're gonna love it. Okay, so first job, preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit. Next, let's chop up the squash. I want to just dice up the squash into roughly 1 centimetre chunks. I want to add a couple of tablespoons of oil. Let's get the squash straight in. We're not going to completely cook stuff in the pan. We're just going to take the rawness out and start sharing some flavours. I'm using vac pack chestnuts here. You can get them in all the supermarkets. And if you put them in whole and bring them back to life by roasting them with things like rosemary, okay, they're absolutely delicious. I want 1 onion. Let's just finely chop that. 2 cloves of garlic. Celery. We definitely want to start the process of seasoning with sea salt and pepper. About half a teaspoon of cayenne, a little pinch of smoked paprika. I want 1 level teaspoon of dried oregano. So I'm just going to quite crudely cut up a lovely couple of field mushrooms. About 40 grams of butter. Just a little bit of lemon zest. Gives a really nice contrast. Our veg here is off the heat now. Over here, we've got 100 grams of mixed nuts, Brazils, walnuts, hazelnuts, cashew nuts. Next job, I need to bash my nuts, which is a lovely opportunity for you to get all the frustration in your life out, but with good reason and purpose. Ah, nice. Bashed up nuts. I'm gonna put this into the bowl. Next in with the quinoa and the dry fruit. 4 lovely, large, free-range eggs. Obviously the eggs are going to really help to bind the dish. We're going to go straight in like that, all the juices, and we'll mix that up. I've rubbed this dish with butter and I've just lined it with some greaseproof paper just to make it doubly safe that it just pops out nice and easy. So I'm just going to pour this in with the nut roast like this. Squeeze as much as you can into there. So now I'm going to whack this in the oven for 45 to 50 minutes. I'm going to cook that until it goes golden and crisp and gorgeous. Then next, I'm going to show you how to make a brilliant sauce that I'm going to sit that on. So it's kind of cooking into each other with some melted cheese, herbs. And this sauce is called salsa rosa picante. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to put a little olive oil into the tray. I'm going to get 2 chilies. I'm going to prick it. If you don't prick it, they'll explode in your face. And I just want to put the chilies in whole. I'm also going to go in with a stick of cinnamon, some garlic, just 2 cloves. I'm just going to get a small onion here, cut it into quarters and then into 1/8. I'm going to go for this next part of the recipe with some thyme and just take the lovely little leaves off the stalk. I'm going to put this on top of the nut roast. Just move that thyme around so it's coated in the fat. And then it's going to crispen up and go gorgeous. I'm going to put it to one side, out of the heat. Go in with my tomatoes. What we can also do is add just a little bit of balsamic vinegar, 1 tablespoon. And I'll turn the heat down to really low. Simmer it for 10, 15, 20 minutes to really develop the flavours. And then I'll show you what to do with the nut roast next. It's going to be gorgeous. Look at that. Tip it onto its side like so. We can take that greaseproof paper off, place this in to this amazing sauce. And I'm just gonna grate some nice bits of cheddar, and that's gonna give it amazing flavor. It'll obviously melt and go gorgeous. We can then put our chili on the top, put the cinnamon on the top as well. I've got those thyme tips, remember? Put that over the whole tray. Pop it back in the oven now for about 10 minutes. Okay, so let's have a little look at that. I've purposefully let the grated cheese go over the edges and let the tomato sauce cook up the sides. I'm going to get myself a nice plate, some mashed potato. Let's get some lovely seasonal kale. Look at that. Gorgeous. Proper comfort food. Get that lovely thick sauce and just put it over one side of the nut loaf, over the kale, with a little new seasoned olive oil. Is an absolute dream. There you go. It is delicious. I'm gonna try it. Of course, you've got the crispy bits here, the soft bits there, all those lovely veggies. Let's get right in there with the salsa rosa picante. If you want to do something incredible this Christmas that's going to blow people's minds, then let me show you the wonderful world of cured gravlax of salmon with beautiful beetroot, horseradish, lemon and dill, rye bread scones. It's really, really delicious. Here we have a beautiful, sustainable fillet of salmon. It's been pin-boned, and it's about 1.5 kilos, give or take. So look, we're gonna make a cure to preserve the fish. Here we've got 400 grams of rock salt. Then we've got 200 grams of brown sugar. The salt and the sugar will draw out the moisture from the fish. You also kind of change the structure, the texture, and the salt and sugar, of course, makes it last longer. So you can do this a week before Christmas, 2 days before Christmas. We're gonna make this work for you, and it's gonna be incredible. We have the ability now to flavor that cure. I'm gonna take a little lemon zest, and I'll just grate into the salt. Horseradish, if you've never seen it before, it's an incredible root vegetable. Now, this is hot, and it's fragrant, and it's really, really good with fish. And then for a slight curveball, beetroot. The colour will permeate the outside of the salmon, and it will create something that is so classy, and all it is grating up a beetroot. So at this stage, we're gonna go in with some vodka. 1 bubbles, 2 bubbles, 3. That's about 3 shots. Mix it up, and then we just rub it all over the salmon, both sides. You can see the salt and the sugar now pulling the moisture out of the fish and creating like this little beetroot juice brine, okay? That's what's gonna do the magic. Turn it so it's flesh side down, so it sits in all that lovely brine, and I'll just wrap it up, pop it in the fridge for 1.5 days, and let the fridge do all the hard work for you. Have a little look at this. Let's open the Christmas present. Metallic, bauble red amazingness. So that salmon is now cured, and everything that you put on it has done its work. So just brush it off. And then you start thinking about adding another layer of flavour. Dill. So dill is a fantastic herb. Finely chop it, and it will stick to it. Now look at this colour. It's got blimmin' Christmas written all over it. This is gonna be a starter like you've never had before. Wrap this really well, and then that can sit in the fridge, and then at any point we can serve this up and have an amazing starter for your friends, your guests, ready to go. Right, so what I'm gonna do is show you something really simple to make a cheese plate a little bit more exciting. I got a load of figs, just half them, dead simple, and literally all I'm gonna do is, can you put some clementine zest on it? Bit of clementine zest, a little bit of cinnamon, tiniest little gesture of that will just give it a nice little edge. A little pinch of sugar, tiny bit, hardly any, just to dust it. Now you've got 2 choices. You can bang this in the oven for about 3 to 4 hours at 100, or put the oven on to sort of pilot or 50 degrees and at its lowest setting, and then bang it in overnight. When you wake up in the morning, you get this. What we've achieved is basically we've dehydrated the fig, right? We've intensified the sweetness, the flavour. You can see it's gone kind of gummy in texture. If you sort of they're lovely warm, so nice big pile of these. Then just serve it with some nice warm bread. That with some nuts, with some honey. And then what I like to do is just kind of get a little bit of goat's cheese. Just put it on here like this, right, and just squash it. I like to put these on
it.
Like this. Get a few of those little nuts and just go over it like that. And honey and salty goat's cheese is like something from heaven. Just look at that. You want to try a bit, big boy?
Yeah, of course I want to try. Oh my goodness me.
Delicious. What do you think, Janine? Hi guys, hope you're well. Okay, so I've got a brilliant recipe for Christmas crumble. Woohoo! Come on! Now, crumble has been a top search on jamieoliver.com, and you guys are loving it. And of course, you know I love a crumble. This one is quick, it's easy, it's got some brilliant Christmassy hacks. The first hack is I'm gonna use a jar of beautiful cranberry sauce. 100 grams of that gives you the fruit, the flavour of Christmas, and the sugar. Then we're gonna use 1.5 kilos of apples and pears. Now, this is the season for apples and pears, and don't get the cooking apples that need more sugar. Go for the eating apples and try and mix the varieties up so you can see you've got different colours, different flavours. They'll all cook differently, but if you mix up the pears and apples, it will taste amazing. The cranberry sauce gives us that brilliant cheat of sugar and the flavours of Christmas. So mix up the apples and pears. I'm going to add another Christmassy ingredient, and that's the clementine. Add in the fine zest of 1 clementine. and I'll go in with the juice as well. So that clementine juice smells so good. If you wanted to put a little Christmas spice in there, a little nutmeg grated in there, or a little tiny pinch of cinnamon, that's amazing. Put in some Christmassy sherry, just a nice little lug like that. And then all you have to do is mix it up, put a lid on, and cook that slowly for about 10 minutes until tender and delicious. Let me show you the crumble topping now. It is so simple. So in a traditional sense, we're gonna go in with 50 grams of unsalted butter. We're then gonna go in with 100 grams of plain flour, but then we go in with 50 grams of flaked almonds. I'm gonna go in with 50 grams, which is about 2 tablespoons of sugar in there as well. So just rub this all together to make that classic crumble topping. Here's a nice little curveball. Grab yourself 1 or 2 or 3 if you want mince pies. And I'll literally just crumble it up in my hand, and that is the flavor of Christmas, right? Straight in there. And you can see the texture and the color changing. Brilliant little cheat. And I love that. So when that's cooked, I'll show you how to put it together. You're gonna love it. So the apple and pear and the cranberry, that's had about 10 minutes. It smells amazing. I'll turn that off now. Get yourself 1 large or 2 nice molds. I quite like, when I do a crumble, to make 1 for now and 1 for the freezer or the fridge, right? It's just a nice thing to have around so you can just whack it in another day. So the gift that keeps giving. So I'm just gonna fill this bowl with half of this mixture. It smells so nice. What I love about using eating apples and the pears is it doesn't just completely fall apart and turn into pulp. I'm just gonna spoon this in like that. I'll take half of this and just sprinkle this on top. Now I try to put most of it in the middle and then kind of almost go a little bit around the outsides, and that way it kind of allows it to breathe, and you kind of get nice little blippy bits here as well. So that's lovely. So that's 1 down, and then this second one to go. So I'll just simply pour that into there. I freeze these, I'll put them in the fridge. You know, in 2 weeks' time, I want a lovely dessert. My family love a crumble. We never get tired of them, but it's really lovely to change up the toppings and of course the fruit combinations. So there you go. 2 done, super simple. 1 for the freezer, 1 for the oven. About half an hour at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. And then I'll serve it up with some custard and maybe a little bit of ice cream as well. Gorgeous. So the crumbles had 30 minutes. It's smelling amazing. And come on, look at that. Come and have a look. Golden, sticky gorgeousness. So there you go. It's looking amazing. The question is what to have with it. Ice cream or custard? I think you know what I'm gonna do. So get yourself a little plate. Get yourself a little spoon. Let's get in there to the soul of this beautiful crumble. Come on. Look at that. Hot and steamy. Apples and pears. For me, the mince pies going in that crumble give it an amazing texture and flavour, but it's not too much, it's not too heavy. It's just that little bit of Christmas, which I love. Let's get some ice cream in the story. Classic custard. And there you go. Christmas crumble, custard and ice cream. Let's get amongst it, come on. Bit of custard. Oh my Lord. That reminds me of being a kid. That reminds me of my nan, my mum. In this month of festivities, get out there, try those little cheats to make your very own Christmas crumble. Lots of love, guys. Happy cooking. And until next time, take care.
It's Christmas! And the whole house is buzzing this year because all my family's piling around mine for a Christmas feast tomorrow. This is a veggie alternative. And before you meat eaters start getting like, oh, I'm not sure about that, no one coming tomorrow is vegetarian. I'm cooking it because it's genuinely delicious. Cheesy, savoury and packed full of beautiful veg and grains, the jewels in this veggie crown are sweet beets, butternut squash and ruby red onion petals. So the first part of this recipe is just roasting off some beautiful veggies. At 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for about an hour, 200 grams each of beets, carrots, red onions, butternut squash, and a little bit of thyme. So in a bowl, we've got 400 grams of self-raising flour. I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking powder.
just to give it lightness. I'm then gonna go in with a little curveball, 100 grams of veggie suet. Then I'm gonna go in with 50 grams of cheddar cheese. So the cheddar cheese will give it that deep seasoning. It also helps the edges really catch. Next, I'm gonna get a nice, interesting ingredient, 10 grams of dried porcini. So on there, about 100 mils of boiling water. Just let that rehydrate just for a second. So we've got about 180 grams here of these chestnuts. Just break them up with your thumbs. If you go to supermarkets or delis, you're gonna find these packs of mixed grain. So 250 grams goes in there. Then it wouldn't be Christmas without nutmeg. So just grate half a nutmeg in there, 150 millilitres of milk, 1 egg, and then get your veg that you've roasted off and then put that into there. Now, retrieve the mushrooms. I want a bit of sunshine in our lovely wintry veggie crown, okay? So 6 sun-dried tomatoes is all we need. Just chop them up like that, throw them in. So just give it a nice little mix up. You know, I want to have chunks of stuff. I'll add just a little bit of that amazing mushroom water to loosen it down. Okay, so let's get this into the bundt tin. The care, the effort happens today. Tomorrow, we're gonna have fun and just cook. I can't wait to see my family. The house is buzzing, the kids are so excited. So I'm gonna put in my veggie crown for an hour and a quarter at 190 degrees Celsius.
Cheers! Cheers! Find your seats, everyone.
Let's have a little look at our amazing veggie crown. And I can't wait for my dad to see it. Bring on the crown. Come on! It smells amazing.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh,
Wow.
Happy Christmas, everyone!
This recipe gives you a surefire way to turn your Christmas turkey and trimmings into the ultimate leftovers sandwich. Stuffed between a belting homemade focaccia with a shortcut to a tasty pickle done in a fraction of the time. It's layered with whatever's in your fridge, topped with mayo mixed with leftover gravy. It's next level good.
So this incredible sandwich is inspired by a dish called muffalata, and they're big focaccias that are split in half, opened up, and then filled with layer upon layer of beautiful things. Mozzarella, prosciutto, parmesan, antipasti, peppers, all that goodness. But really what I want to do is break it down to the principles so you can make it your own at home with your leftovers. So if we're going to make a beautiful sandwich, we need to make a beautiful dough. So I want to give you a recipe that is super reliable, that you can use in many different ways in your life, whether it's pizza bases, nice little rolls, and of course, we're going to make the most incredible focaccia. 1 kilo of strong flour onto a clean surface. A couple of teaspoons of salt, 700 millilitres of tepid water, sort of lukewarm. So the yeast you can buy in sachets, and you can get it in all the supermarkets. Just scatter that into your water. The heat of the water will activate the yeast, and the yeast will be very happy if you add a little sugar, or in this case, honey. So a little teaspoon goes in, and then we can just mix it up like this. Just use your fork to bring the flour from the outside to the inside, bit by bit. As this batter gets thicker and thicker, it then becomes a dough. I think in that time between Christmas and New Year, betwixtmas, you know, a lot of us have got time to do some different cooking, some batch cooking, some lovely slow cooks, and in this case, like a lovely homemade bread. And also, you know, starting with these simple raw ingredients that, of course, are much cheaper than buying a focaccia yourself. Like, this is a win-win. As I'm moving the dough around with the fork, I'm just using this little scraper just to bring it in to the centre. So I'm going to give you some lovely shortcuts to turning those leftovers into something absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be a sandwich beyond all sandwiches, and also it's really good for groups of people. You can do one big massive one, like slice it up, let people take what they want, and you can feed quite a lot of people. So you can see 10 minutes of kneading, and what we've got now is a really lovely elastic dough. So what I do now is give it its first prove Improving is simply letting the yeast activate and double the dough in size. So put a little bit of oil into a bowl. Give it a little rub around the edges. Just put that in there like that. And then I'll just get a little tea towel and wet it. Just put this over the bowl and give that 1 hour, and then I'll show you what to do next. What you'll see is it's doubled in size, and at this point, we've got to knock it back. Knock out the air, and then what you do is prove it again. So put some oil in a nice big tray. This is about 40 by 30 centimetres wide. And then take this dough and just plop it in there like that. Push it out as much as you can. And by pushing your fingers right to the bottom of the tray, you create these little dimples that you can then fill up with gorgeous extra virgin olive oil. And that will go into all the little cracks and crannies. You could put herbs, sliced tomatoes, and all kinds of things. I'm going to keep it super simple. Olive oil, salt, and that's it. So, let that prove until it's doubled in size again. Under here is a focaccia bread. It's a big sandwich and the most delicious. It's as big as this tray. Have you ever seen focaccia? Have a look. Don't touch it though, because it's got to double in size. Give you a kiss. This dough has had another hour, and that's going to go in an oven. This oven is at 200 degrees Celsius, and we'll give that 25 to 30 minutes until golden and crisp and gorgeous. So, next up, the leftovers. We're going to use some British cheeses, red Leicester, cheddar. We're going to use our turkey, stuffing, smoked ham. This is a sandwich that you have to share. And then we're going to make a quick pickle, which is a fantastic thing to learn if you ever want to bring a little bit of life into a dish. Turning everyday veggies like cauliflower, radishes, carrots, cucumber into something really exciting. We're going to use white wine vinegar. You could use red wine vinegar. 5 or 6 tablespoons, some salt, and a little bit of olive oil. So it's about 1 part olive oil to about 6 parts vinegar. Think of it like that. Just a little bit of whole grain mustard. Look at that. And then we can have fun with some textures. So take your humble carrot and you can create the most beautiful textures just by peeling, right? If you've ever got a crinkle cutter, it's quite a cool way to chop up cucumbers into little matchsticks. Even leftover cauliflowers here, just cut them into tiny, tiny florets. If you make this pickle up, you can use it straight away. You can keep it in the fridge. And it's a great way of maybe extending some of the life of your veggies. So with the radishes, just slice them up any old way. We can spice it up with a little chilli. Just give it a nice little kick up the backside. I've got tarragon here. It could be mint, it could be parsley, it could be basil. Just tear the dill in like that. Then I'm using some jarred peppers here. They're just char grilled, super convenient, amazing sweet flavour that's a little bit sort of smoky, beautiful. And then here I've got some olives. So get the crunchy veggies all mixed up with that vinegar. And what's nice about this recipe is it's a principle that you can use for whatever's in your fridge. Pickle done. What I tend to do if I've got any leftover turkey is just take it off the bone and then I can slice it up. So slice your meats as thin as you can. What I love about this is all the smells around me are the classic smells of Boxing Day. You know, leftover turkey, stuffing, the pickles. There's some nice red Leicester and cheddar. Often you'd see different kinds of mayonnaises or aiolis as a layer on a muffalata. And I'm gonna make some leftover gravy mayonnaise, and I can only promise you this is a thing of beauty. Gravy mayonnaise. It's so right but wrong. It's so good. Let's get the focaccia out of the oven. It looks good. It's had half an hour. Oh. And look at that. Nice and golden. Now, as soon as it comes out of the oven, you feed it again with olive oil. Let it soak into the bread. Give that 15 minutes, then we'll split it and make this incredible sandwich. So this has cooled down beautifully now. Oh. So our job is now to get in there and split it. Try and go in the middle. And I tend to just go around the edge first, like this. Don't go all the way through, don't try, because you might go wonky. And then once you've joined up, then you can start slicing through. Oh, look at that. We can now start layering up. We're gonna use our incredible gravy mayo. So that is the first layer of flavour. And do that layer of the smoked ham, look at that. Beautiful. Then we can go in with our little bit of rocket. Here you could use watercress, you could use herbs if you wish. Then we can go a little bit of cheddar, just little slithers. Look at that. Then we're gonna get our lovely turkey. And we're still celebrating that amazing, amazing roast dinner from Christmas. But any leftovers this could embrace. Then we're gonna go for this amazing pickle. What I might do is just pick out some of this pepper first. It still feels like it's as crazy as Christmas should be, with tinsel and baubles. It's just a really nice sort of party sandwich. Last layer of the red Leicester. And then last but not least, let's get the stuffing on top. I want to use all of those lovely leftovers. There, we have got an epic sandwich. If I just kind of slice into it, right down to the bottom, that is a sandwich not to be messed around with. Let's have a little go on our Christmas leftover focaccia muffalata. Oh yeah. Completely eccentric. It uses up leftovers and it's a beautiful thing to make your own bread. What a celebration. There you go. Muffalata. Merry Christmas. There's no greater way to tell someone that you love them than through chocolate. Oh yes, something amazingly chocolatey. And I've got a recipe for you that is gonna absolutely make your Christmas. My triple chocolate Yule Log is a scrumptious rolled chocolate sponge filled with hazelnut chocolate spread, whipped cream, and topped with a luxurious chocolate buttercream. A delicious gift to bring a bit of festive joy. And it all starts in here, making homemade chocolate sponge. We want 4 beautiful free-range organic eggs, nice large ones, okay? I want to get the egg whites into here. Let the whites go through and bounce very carefully the yolk backwards and forwards. Don't get any yolk in there at all. And if you do, you will have to start again. Next thing is a good pinch of salt. And now we're gonna whisk. That's gonna make this sponge really light. You're incorporating loads of air into the egg whites, and that will go nice and stiff. Air is the most precious ingredient in this sponge. It's gonna give you the lift and the texture. So now, 75 grams of icing sugar, sieve it in, and then we start whisking again. Right, look at that. Beautiful. And then whip in the egg yolks one by one. Then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 75 grams of self-raising flour through the sieve, and 2 tablespoons of good quality cocoa powder, not hot chocolate, cocoa powder. So, go from using a whisk to using a spatula, from whisking to folding. I'm gonna fold all the ingredients back into the middle. Try and not lose as much air as possible. And there we go. We got the sponge looking good. I've got a 35 centimetre by 25 centimetre tray. I have just oiled it and put some greaseproof paper in. And now I'll pour that lovely sponge into the tray, like that, every last bit.
And then gently push the chocolate right to the edge. And there you go. Happy days. So this is now going to go into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for exactly 8 minutes. At the same time, I'm going to toast off 350 grams of lovely whole peeled hazelnuts. And that is going to be part of our filling for this sponge. So in that goes as well. Now, we're going to make the most incredible chocolate spread to go inside our beautiful Yule log. I've got a heat-proof bowl and a little inch of water on a very low heat. And we're going to melt 350 grams of good quality chocolate, about 70 to 80% cocoa solids. Just break it up, a little pinch of salt. It kind of brings out the flavour. And then 100 grams of unsalted butter, and let that slowly melt and give it a stir every now and again. So, get yourself some more greaseproof paper, lay out a little sheet like that. My sponge is ready now, and it smells amazing. Beautiful. And I've got the nuts here for the most incredible chocolate spread. First up, take our chocolate sponge and we'll literally flap it onto this greaseproof paper very confidently. And then while it's warm, we're going to gently peel off this greaseproof paper and roll it up. Just gently like that, slowly, slowly. And let it cool down in that shape and you'll be perfectly good to go. And then let's have a look at my nuts. Look, they're nice and toasted. Got a nice little bit of colour there. So this goes straight in to a food processor. And while it's nice and hot, we'll wazz it up. Look, have a look at that. In just a minute, it's turned those hazelnuts into an amazing flour. It smells incredible. Then just put this melted chocolate on top, whiz it up until really smooth. Oh! Come on! That is proper chocolate and nut spread. So the great thing about this is you can think about it in a few ways, right? I'm going to use it as the most amazing, indulgent, delicious layer of our rolled Yule log, right? That's the first thing. Secondly, put it in a jar, little label, that is the best gift ever. Send that to someone you love. Chocolate and nut spread, my mum is going to love that. And then thirdly, put this into a little dish, and I'll put this in the fridge. And when it kind of solidifies, hot spoon, teaspoon, boop, little truffles. Dust it in nuts or cocoa powder, brilliant. In that goes. Right, next up, we're gonna make chocolate buttercream for the outside of the Yule log. You use the same pan with the same water in it, and another heat-proof bowl, and then 150 grams of 80% cocoa solids chocolate. So that will slowly melt. And then in another bowl, I'm gonna beat the lovely butter and then eventually the sugar together. Now this buttercream is gonna go on the outside of the Yule log, AKA bark, chocolatey bark. This is 150 grams of butter, unsalted, and I've got it to room temperature. So just use the back of a spatula just to give it a nice little push. It takes a little while, and then we can start beating it, getting the air into it. And once that's nice and light, go in with 150 grams of icing sugar. So equal quantities of the sugar, the chocolate, and the butter. And then we give it a nice little beat. So slowly, slowly now, as it's just gone in, then we can pick our speed up and we'll start beating again. Completely changes the texture. Then check the chocolate. It's almost there. And a little pinch of salt again. And while that cools down, I've got 350 mils of gorgeous double cream to go inside our beautiful Yule log. And a tablespoon of sugar. And give it a little whisk up. And this is going to be one of the layers that becomes part of the swirl as we roll up our sponge. So that is done. And then let's finish off this buttercream now because the chocolate has cooled down. But look at that, chocolate, chocolate, chocolate and chocolate. Yes.
This is going to make someone, or many people, very happy. Slowly beat that into the buttercream. So that's it. We've got the amazing chocolate buttercream here. We've got the whipped cream. We've got the homemade sponge. And we've got our lovely, beautiful chocolate and nut spread. Right, this is going to make the best Yule Log ever. Honestly, flavours, texture, off the chart. Time to make our beautiful Yule Log. Unwind it slowly. That beautiful, beautiful chocolate and nut spread is going to go on top, right to the edges. Then our beautiful cream. Just lightly sweetened. Now I've got a curveball ingredient. Amazing, maraschino cherries. I'm just going to put a few here at the base, like a little surprise. And some of these juices. Oh, yes. And just take a little grater and a clementine. It will make all the difference. Hello! Hey! Here comes trouble.
What's this?
We're going to make a chocolate Yule Log. I'm going to roll it up now.
That would have
That's very satisfying, isn't it?
Oh.
On to the board.
Oh my god.
And I'm going to cut off this end.
Oh my god.
I then put this here, like that.
Ah, it's a treat.
You see?
I want to eat it.
So do you know what the good news is?
What?
This is for Nanny and Grandad to take home.
No, I'm going to take it.
I want
Dad,
See what
Dad.
happens.
River, where are you going?
So look, guys, this buttercream is going to go on the outside of the Yule Log. Oh my Lord, it's going to taste good. All these little kind of nooks and crannies are supposed to look like...
Bark.
Yeah, it's like bark. Right, who wants to decorate some bits? Put some of these around the outside. Some crushed hazelnuts. And then it's been snowing just at the corner of the forest. So there you go. That is the Yule Log. Little candle. That sponge is going to be so soft and silky and chocolatey and gorgeous. I reckon Nan and Grandad are going to love that, right?
Definitely.
Traditional mince pie. I'm over it. Done. So I'm thinking I want to do something exciting. I've come up with it. And I'll come up with something which has everything that I love about a mince pie and more. So what I've got is some pre-bought all butter puff pastry, and I've got some phyllo pastry here as well. Nice and crunchy. So we've got a contrast. Bit of flour. Roll it out. It's so quick to make. Flour it as you go.
Put a bit more flour there.
Who's in control here? Me
Yeah,
or
I
you?
know, but no, can I put some on top
That was
here as
ice
well?
and sugar.
That was ice and sugar. Shit.
What's the matter with you? Roll it out to about the size of a regular tea towel, okay? It's about 3 millimetres thick. And then you get a good quality jar of mincemeat. I know this seems like cheat, but that's hard to make and it's a great product. That's quite hard to make and it's a great product. Mincemeat, if you get the good one, there's a great recipe there. It's been made months ago, so it's matured. All those flavours have really moulded into each other. But what I've got an opportunity to do is I can put some other things in, like the chestnuts that me and Gennaro have done, and some other sour fruits, like sour cranberries.
It's almost like make panforte in Italy.
A panforte, yes.
Yeah.
And that's Christmassy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very Christmassy. We put a little bit spice in it.
Yeah? I like your little recipe with the brandy.
Did you get drunk?
No.
Oh, come on. Come on, you're almost there. Look, I can see you.
Get your chestnuts and just put them over like that. Beautiful. Christmas in a nutshell. So that's what I mean by it's got the flavours of a mince pie, it's got the mincemeat, but then we've got the lovely roasted chestnuts, or you could use other nuts, then sour cranberries, and they're going to be a bit more chewy, because everything else in the mincemeat is quite soft. Now, clementine.
Don't you think you need a bit of spice in it?
It's got spice in the mincemeat.
Do you need a little bit black peppers, you know?
Ground put a bit of black pepper in there for?
Well, pan forty in Italy we use that. Why don't you use a little bit that?
Okay, I'll put a bit of black pepper on one
Yeah.
for you. I'll do it in a minute when I portion them out. I'm not putting black pepper in mine.
Why not?
Because we're not Italian. We don't want black pepper on our mincemeat.
It's a spice you put them in.
Okay.
Put a
So
black
clementine zest on this mincemeat. Gennaro wants to put black pepper on it, but roll it up into a sausage shape, and then you got the mincemeat, which we love.
Yes, we
but I'm
do.
getting fed up with it. But the chestnuts and then the lovely clementine, yeah, as well. And then we've got the sour
and a little
cranberries.
bit of black pepper on top.
Forget
of
the black
spice.
pepper for a minute, Gennaro.
All right.
Okay? So what you get is like a little twister, and in that twister is Christmas. And instead of having this crumbly old short crust, we've got something light, something spongy, something bouncy, right, with all that stuff in. Then I was thinking, I want to have another texture, right? So I got this phyllo pastry, and basically I want it to cover this tray. So I'm going to lay a sheet here, and I've got some melted butter. Just dab that. This is as much as an assembly as it is a recipe, really. But just because I'm not making the mincemeat from scratch, and you shouldn't think that you're cheating. You wait till you see this. So I want to put it over this tray, and I want it to be about, I don't know, a couple of inches bigger. And you can be scruffy about this. Don't try and be pretty. Don't worry about this. Just hang it over by 2 inches. And then...
Don't forget to put some of this one on the tray.
No, well, that's why I buttered this.
You're going to put it upside down?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right, now.
So just lay it over, roughly. Get the 2 ends that we're not going to use, push them together. And just use that to gently push the phyllo pastry in, using that as a little bung. So what is phyllo pastry all about? Well, it's about crunch. If you think about the contrast of the puff pastry with the crunch of the phyllo pastry, it's going to be a total joy, a total treat.
I like it.
Then get your little twister. See that chestnuts in there? Look at that. So for me, this is a mince pie, but it's all about new texture. Little bit of butter around all the edges, and when it cooks, that phyllo pastry almost becomes like a little tray that it's cooked in. Get a nice handful of almonds, like that. Sprinkle them on top. And then, Gennaro, will you just get me clementine?
Yeah, I want another clementine. OK.
I just put a little bit of pepper on yours, shall I?
You already put that stuff on top. You want another clementine?
This one here on the right's yours, with a little clementine, just to show that it's yours. And then the icing sugar. Beautiful. So that is an assembly job. That anyone can do. I put that in the oven for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, until golden and beautiful. I'm going to cook that at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And that, you just wait, will be beautiful.
Bravo.
Right, doesn't quite look right yet. That phyllo pastry almost becomes like a little tray that it's cooked in. Just...
Bravissimo.
I've never seen a mince pie like this.
I like it.
But that's exciting, that's what it's all about, that's what cooking's all about. So I'm going to get some creme fraiche. It's quite nice to have a little teaspoon of something with your mince pie. Gennaro, just put me about 2 tablespoons of vanilla sugar in there, big boy.
I'll use my hands.
And can you grate me some clementine on top?
Idea, let's test.
Heat your brandy up. Just like a shot.
Oh, lovely smell.
Did you put vanilla sugar in?
Yes, I put some vanilla sugar.
Did you put enough in?
I did put a 2 tablespoons. I didn't have
How
the
much
sugar.
clementine did you put in?
I put them a zest over and a little clementine inside.
A whole zest or just a little bit of a clear?
Well, look, I put all this. Listen, I know better than what you put inside here.
To serve it, just put that lovely flamed brandy and vanilla sugar creme fraiche in there. I know that that still doesn't look like a traditional mince pie, but wait for this, right? You just click it off, you know? All right, it's come off wonky. All right, we'll peel it off then. For me, personally, that is beautiful. And if someone handed you that at a party, you wouldn't go, oh, God, another mince pie. You go, what is it? What is it? And you go, mince pie, new style-y. And they're like, OK. And the lovely thing is, you can bespoke it, you can make it your own. This is for me, this is for you. Little bit of icing sugar. I know I don't normally do that much pretty stuff, but this is the time of year.
Ah, that's good.
A little bit of holly. Now, the key about eating this is a sip of wine first, And then a nice big...
I know how to eat it. Why shall I? I want to taste this one first.
You've got a little bit of pepper now. Is it nice? Is it nice?
Yes, it's nice. You know, I'm going to eat because it's very nice. You put all the stuff in top. You put a little bit. I don't want to. Don't put any pepper. Doesn't go. This is the right way to do it. That is rubbish way, the one with peppercorn.
Buon Natale.
Buon Natale.
In Essex, we say, up your bum.
Up my bum.
Hi guys, hope you're well. Okay, I've got the best recipe for leftover turkey. You're gonna love it. It's a beautiful turkey stew with sweet leek and smoky bacon biscuit dumplings. Yes! This is the most delicious dish. Here we got leftover turkey, white meat, brown meat, stuffing. It's all good. It's gonna make the most incredible stew. But then we're gonna make these biscuits, these dumplings that are so good too. So we're gonna start with that part. I'm gonna finely slice 2 rashers of smoky bacon. And then we're gonna go into a pan with a little swig of olive oil. So as that begins to fry up, it smells amazing already, we're gonna finely slice 2 small leeks, okay? So what I want you to do is just kind of trim the ends, and then that outer little piece like that we can remove. Get the tip of your knife and run it down the length of the leek like that, and then we can wash the leek under a tap. I'm going to just cut it in half and finely slice it. Let's do the second one. So what I want to do is give it a nice generous pinch of black pepper, and then straight in with the leeks. And then I'm going to turn the heat down to medium-low, and I'll cook that for about 15 minutes. So in a separate pan, let's get that onto a medium-high heat. We'll start this amazing stew. So first up, I'll give it some more olive oil. Then we're gonna go in with 3 bay leaves. We'll go in with a couple of sprigs of thyme and rosemary. This will just get the flavors going. Then I've got 3 onions, roughly chop them. And then the second vegetable, celery. Split them in half lengthwise and then roughly slice them. In with the celery. What we're gonna do now is let this celery and onion cook down nice and sweet for 15 minutes, and the same on the leek. Okay, so 15 minutes later, you can see what's happened. That's cooked down beautiful. So first up, I'm going to remove these stalks of herbs. Then in here, it's really simple to turn it into a beautiful, beautiful gravy. First of all, 2 heaped teaspoons of English mustard. Then 2 heaped tablespoons of flour. So we'll stir that through first of all, and then what we can do is put in 1.5 litres of veg or chicken stock. So get that stirred in, and we'll bring that to a boil. The sweet leeks and bacon now, we can just shake that onto a clean surface. So just do that, and they'll be cold easily within the time. So as that comes to the boil, you can see it beginning to thicken up. I'll turn that down now. We'll go in with the stuffing and the meat. Get that stirred in, and we'll let that simmer while I'll put these beautiful dumpling biscuits together. So that's gonna simmer away while I make these incredible dumplings. So in a bowl, we're gonna go in with 125 grams of flour. Then I'm gonna go in with 25 grams of corn maize. Then we're gonna go in with 30 grams of diced butter with a good pinch of pepper. And we're just gonna use our fingers to rub it all together. So almost a little bit like a crumble topping. And then, once you've done that, we're gonna go in with some beautiful buttermilk. So 125 mils goes in at the same time as our lovely leeks and bacon. So they all become part of the same amazing biscuit dumplings. We're gonna cook these lovely dumplings on top of that stew. So they're gonna suck up a lot of that lovely gravy and just kind of bring it together. And if you come and have a look at the consistency of this, it's like soft, but it's not sticky. So this will go on here. So wash my hands, pat it out with your hands. Just take a cookie cutter, cut it out like that. And then we can then place those straight onto our stew. Now this mess here is not a mess, this is all good. We can just simply push this back together into a little ball, pat it down again to about 2 centimeters thick. Then we go again on top, and we won't waste any of this mix. All I would do now is just brush these dumplings with a little bit of egg wash, like that. And then they go in the oven for about half an hour at 200 degrees Celsius. And then I'll have a little clean down, we'll do some nice greens or broccoli or something like that, and that is gonna be amazing. So, half an hour has passed. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, look at that. You can see how everything's cooked into each other. It's gone golden. So let's just portion some up. I'll take some of that lovely broccoli, go right in to the bottom of the pan so you get a nice chunk of all those lovely cuts of meat. Come on, guys, look at that. That is proper comfort food at its best. Finish it with a little bit of gravy. Go on over the biscuits. Yes. Beautiful turkey stew with sweet leeks, smoky bacon, biscuit, dumplings. Let's get on with a little bit of tasting. Yes. Oh my Lord, that is a great festive leftover meal. So that, my friends, is a thing of beauty. Comfort food at its best. If you want this recipe and loads more amazing recipes for the festive season, then check out my Christmas cookbook. I'm really proud of it, and there's some great chapters. So I've got a veggie treat for you that people will fight over. This is creamed spinach with the most amazing local cheese crumble topping. It's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous with pretty much any meal, but a Christmas meal, unbelievable. Go into a pan on a medium heat with a load of olive oil.
Finely chop 2 onions and 2 cloves of garlic, along with 2 teaspoons of dried oregano.
So look, there's one more flavour, nutmeg, a brilliant spice. Cheese's best friend and spinach's best friend.
Finely grate in half, then fry gently for 10 minutes before adding the spinach.
Little secret, frozen spinach is better for this recipe. You want a kilo. So let's turn up the heat. Let's let that spinach get kissed by the sweet onions, garlic, oregano and nutmeg. This is going to be joyful.
A hit of salt and pepper, and then let it cook down for about 20 minutes. For the crumble topping, mix 100 grams each of porridge oats, unsalted butter, plain flour and grated cheese.
So this is a local fontina. There's many producers around here. Smells amazing. So it's really nice that you can swap cheeses out. If you were back home, you could use a cheddar.
Like cheddar, this local fontina is a cow's milk cheese that has a nice tang and will melt really well.
So this bit's super simple. Just rub in your hands the crumble topping together. You know the drill, right? This spinach dish is a bit of a classic. Once people have tried it, they keep wanting it.
Finally fold in 150 millilitres of creme fraiche for a really lovely creamy texture.
So nice to be here. And there's something about the views and the air. Oh, I just love it. Right, look at that colour, guys. Oh, luxury. So, next bit, you get your lovely spinach here and just pour it in. So look, beautiful colours. And then the crumble, very simply, goes on the top. And you don't have to perfectly do it. Let there be gaps around the edge. And actually what will happen is as the kind of milky, creamy gorgeousness starts bubbling, it'll fight its way through and it'll beat up the crumbly topping. That, my friends, is brilliant for any feasting and certainly Christmas. You can do that the day before and just pop it in the oven 45 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is exactly where I'm going to put this now. And I'll bring it straight back, hopefully before it gets too dark. So here we go, the amazing creamed spinach. The smell from the cheese and the oats is fantastic. And I love the way the spinach here just gets caught. Absolutely delicious. Next time you go past the freezer department and you see that little lonely bag of frozen spinach, don't commiserate, celebrate. Delicious.
If I could give you anything this Christmas, it would be the foundations of the perfect roast Christmas dinner. And for me, it's 3 things that really, really matter. First up, the most proficiently and impeccably cooked roast meat. In this case, the turkey. Then, second, amazing, not just all right, amazing roast potatoes that blow your mind. And then hot piping, beautiful gravy with depth and flavour. If you get those 3 things right, everything else,
It's just playtime.
Number 1 in my foundations of Christmas. The ultimate Christmas turkey. With crispy golden skin, crunchy smoked bacon, and succulent juicy meat, this is a right royal feast.
The beginning actually starts with the preparation for the gravy, the trivet, what the turkey sits on.
Chop 2 sticks of celery, 2 onions, and 2 carrots.
This is going to be the base. This will slowly cook down for the whole cooking time of the turkey. Caramelise, give real depth of flavour. So cut them big, cut them proud, and cut them chunky.
Add half a bulb of garlic, skins on.
And then we got the giblets. This is where the depth of flavour comes from.
Next, it's time to get that bird tasting great.
So inside the turkey cavity, I'm going to put a little bit of Christmas, some clementine. I've got just 1 chilli, just split it in half. Just stuff that into the cavity of the turkey. I don't want to block it up because it's important that the oven air is not just roasting it from the outside, we want it circulating inside as well.
Herbs need to go in too. I'm using sage, rosemary and bay.
And of course that flavours the turkey, it affects everything.
For the back of the turkey, I'm doing the most incredible delicious stuffing using pork and peaches. Whiz up 400 grams of breadcrumbs with 200 grams of cooked and peeled chestnuts. Tip them into a bowl. Finely chop 4 rashers of smoky bacon, 2 onions, 2 leeks, and fry with chopped sage and grated nutmeg in oil and butter. Season and cook for 15 minutes. Once cool, add to the breadcrumbs, along with 1 kilogram of pork shoulder mincemeat and a tin of drained peaches for the most amazing fruity hit. Really squash and scrunch it all together. 250 grams is to stuff the turkey now, and the rest can be baked later.
This flavours the turkey and the turkey flavours this, then both of it flavours the gravy, and it's a beautiful, beautiful circle of amazing flavour.
Now for a trick to make your turkey really juicy. Squidge up a whole pack of butter at room temperature.
And before you start shouting at me going, all that fat, this fat's all going to melt off. It's not the fat that you want to think about, it's the journey it has on the way out that's going to guarantee your turkey to be better than ever before.
Rub the butter all over the turkey in a perfect layer.
By having this butter on top, then I can season with salt and pepper. And instead of the salt damaging the flesh of the meat and drawing the moisture out, it sits on top and it never fully touches the turkey until the butter starts to melt. Genius. There's one flavour I want to put in there to season. Nutmeg. Look at that. Beautiful stuff.
Grate a whole nutmeg over the bird.
The flavour will be completely sublime and it will taste like Victorian Christmas.
Then press sage, rosemary and thyme onto the buttery layer.
There's nothing technical about this at all, it's child's play.
Finish with just a little clementine zest, then cover the turkey snugly with tinfoil.
Hug it around the turkey. Leave the hole open. The benefit of this, it holds the buttery herbiness underneath, so it slowly makes its way out into the bottom of the tray. Also, it helps the skin get crispy and it holds the natural moisture inside. So in it goes, onto the trivet. Beautiful.
Now we need to talk cooking times because this could make or break your Christmas.
There's 2 schools of thought because if it's a high welfare turkey, which means it has more fat throughout the meat, it cooks quicker, 25 to 30 minutes per kilo. And then if it's a standard turkey, it has less fat and you need to cook it for 30 to 40 minutes per kilo. So you work out the size and weight of your turkey and what type of turkey it is. This is 7 kilos, it's higher welfare. This is gonna be 3.5 hours cooking. Whatever you do, you want this turkey out of the fridge for at least 1.5 hours before you put it into the oven.
My beautiful turkey is going into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit.
So now you can clean down, chill out, wrap presents, have a cocktail, do what you gotta do, be a great mum or dad, I don't know, you can even daddy dance. Oh yeah, let's embarrass the kids. Come on! An hour before the turkey is finished cooking, let's take it out, let's see what's happening. Beautiful, sizzling away. So, a nice little added bonus for flavour, we're going to wrap it in smoked bacon. And just kind of lattice it. The skin will start to get really, really crispy. The bacon will get really, really crispy. And at the same time, it will continue basting the turkey with gorgeous smoky bacon fat. But most importantly, you get that incredible smoked, Christmassy, pigs in blanket flavour. So look at that, proper Lady Gaga, all wrapped up, ready for the party. In the oven it goes, 1 hour, and then it's business time. Okay, so the time is up. The turkey is looking amazing. Look at that. It's so beautiful. It smells absolutely amazing. What an incredible celebration. And if you look at the skin, it's crunchy.
Cover with tin foil and a clean tea towel and leave to rest for up to 2 hours while you crack on.
Now, when you get a beautiful bird like this, you need only put a little bit of oil or butter, salt and pepper and roast it. Really, that's all you need to do. But if you want to try and add and complement the beautiful flavour, go up behind the turkey like this, and where the skin meets the breast, just push it and keep pushing, and then it'll go through like that. And as soon as you've done that, get yourself a spoon or a spatula, and you have a little mosey about. You make a little pocket. And if you imagine getting a flavoured butter underneath there, you know, it's going to slowly, slowly make its journey out, and you're not going to eat it all. It's going to baste, and it's going to be delicious. Now, flavour. I'm thinking Christmas, right? Christmas to me is clementines. Just grate the zest of a clementine. And actually, lemon's pretty damn good as well. Nice and fresh. Lemon and white meat is just brilliant. So literally, that little pile of zest is more than enough into a bowl with a good half a pack of butter and then a good pinch of salt and pepper. You want to season it, right? So give that a little stir up. Take half that butter, and we'll give half that butter per breast. Once you've got that butter in, it's dead simple. Just get your hand and sort of smear it all the way up the breast. And look, at the end of the day, common sense tells you that's going to just be mega beautiful. And then sage. Sage is going to go in that stuffing, and a nice big handful too. And what I want to do is get like 4 or 5 leaves and just literally get your hand under that skin again, and you can just fan them out here, there and everywhere. And what's going to happen is as that butter melts, that sage will fry, and it'll be almost like a stained glass window with a beautiful sage leaf underneath. Is it for aesthetics? Well, it happens to look pretty, but no, it's for flavour, absolutely. So I'm not being like sort of poncy about it, but nice little idea to give it a little tweak. Every Christmas dinner starts with a turkey.
Sure.
So do you want to prep this bird with me?
Let's do it, mate. I don't know what I'm doing, but you show the way.
We're going to take this stuffing. We've got some chestnuts in there, sage, onion.
Have they been roasted on an open fire?
They have.
Fantastic.
They have.
Excellent.
We're going to take this stuffing.
Oh, so you put it in that?
And we're going to put it up the back of the neck. What we don't want to do is put the stuffing in here.
Right.
If you put it in there, the heat from the oven can't get in there.
And it doesn't cook.
And it won't cook as efficiently. Take some room temperature butter and just work it into the turkey.
Work it, Jamie.
If you can just grab that sage for me, and that's going to baste flavour onto this bird.
Right. I've never seen this done before.
This is one of my favourite ways to do it. OK, so now grab the rosemary.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So now we're going to put some rosemary in. So you can join me if you want. So in your house, what is the point on Christmas Day when everyone is snoring and falling asleep? Is that post-dinner kind of
Yeah, I mean, I
food?
feel like it kicks in probably around 9, 10 or something.
Yeah. Your family's good.
Yeah, well,
mine's normally like 4:30.
No, 9 or 10 or something.
Now, I'm going to put about half of a nutmeg in there.
That does look gorgeous, doesn't it?
So look, now we have that slightly less attractive cavity in here. If you chuck us a clementine there.
Yeah.
So in with the clementine, in with the sage and the rosemary. Then what I like to do for double kind of protection as far as moisture is concerned is I take a nice wide bit of tin foil, just put it over the breast, tuck it in. We'll keep that hole open there. Do you like gravy?
Love, the whole family love gravy.
Because gravy's a deal breaker at Christmas, right?
Of course, yeah.
So go back to your memory of your uncle and the gooseneck, right? This is the turkey neck. What I'm trying to say to you is don't be scared of the giblets.
Right, because it's full of flavour.
Very, very good, Taryn. You are picking this up fast.
For the most delicious base for the gravy, add in some carrots, onions, herbs, garlic and celery, and sit the turkey on top.
So the bird goes in an oven at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for 2 hours, 45 minutes, and then we're going to rest it for 2 hours.
So will that still have the heat in it after 2 hours of standing?
You won't believe how much heat is still in there.
OK.
So about half an hour before the end of cooking, I'll take that bird out, I'll take the foil off, I'll baste it with lovely fats, and then I'll take some smoky bacon or pancetta and put it just over the breast meat. You know, pigs in blanket, turkey in blankets,
Yeah,
right?
amazing.
Delicious.